We make more decisions by 9 a.m. than most people do, in an entire work week. The reality is that some principals, and at one point in time even myself, would argue that I didn't have time to do family engagement. I would argue we don't have time not to.
At the very beginning of my career, and I've been in administration for 14 years, I didn't see family engagement as a high priority. But now I see it completely opposite. Many times you'll see that the most successful children are coming from families that are really engaged in their learning.
Each student, faculty member, and parent is an integral part of the team that allows us to work better together and in turn drive us to succeed. And when you have that philosophy and you really treat parents and you value parents as genuine partners in the process, then it all comes together and the students reap the benefits.
Same way we spend time building culture with our kids, and we spend time building culture with our staff around academics and professionalism and what have you, we have to establish the same culture with our families.
I know and I see how our families who are engaged can impact our learning consistently throughout each and every day. I think it's important that as a principal, that every principal put that as one of their #1 priorities. Linking to learning, building relationships, and dual capacity are all high impact categories that you need to focus on in your schools.
Link to student learning.
We can link learning to families.
Link things to learning.
As school leaders, our responsibility is to make their dining room an extension of our classroom, their kitchen an extension of our classroom. So therefore, we build their capacity to have conversations with their children about learning, about success. I don't need a parent of a 9th grader to understand algebra. I need a parent of a 9th grader to understand, does their child know algebra?
Whenever I think about the businesses that I prefer to frequent, and I think about the level of customer service, educators have a lot to learn from that business model of how are we really showing parents we're here to serve them.
There were times as a high school principal where I didn't have the energy to put all that sweat equity into trying to create a curriculum night. So when we have events where I know the entire community is going to show up, how can I meet them there and put an academic spin on an event where people I know are going to walk in the door because they care about football or chorus or the talent show? So we're going to put on the back side of every program, if your kid's in 9th grade math, take this program. On the front side, it's a list of all the football players, cheerleaders, and band members. On the back side, it's what you need to be knowing about 9th grade math that we did this past week so you can ask questions to your kid.
Building that capacity piece.
Dual capacity.
Building their capacity.
One of our major initiatives for our parents is our parent observation. Our families are in the classroom and they can actually see what's going on that particular day. It's an immediate way for them to go home and reinforce that learning with their children. But our teaching staff was extremely nervous because it's not common for parents to be sitting in a classroom. You have 3, 4, 5 parents at a time sitting in a classroom watching what you're doing. Now we've gotten to the point where they are just comfortable doing what they do best every day, which is teaching children and making sure that teaching and learning is their first priority. Our teachers began to embrace it because they started to hear some of the positive comments. They don't have to field as many phone calls with parents having concerns because the parents are in the classroom to see the level of teaching that they are providing. Now, our teachers understand that the parent is so supportive and so dedicated and committed to education. It inspires the teachers to communicate even more effectively with that parent.
Sometimes it's not about access to resources, but it's more about attitude and fear. So then you work with teachers on building that capacity. You have to understand what is the root cause of that disengagement, what is that root cause of that fear, and then you can start to address that either by building their capacity, giving them strategies, or giving them resources that they need.
It's my routine, it's my habit, it's really my belief that I need to be the chief ambassador for the school. So I'm either at a carpool or I am in the front lobby. Being that ambassador, welcoming them, thinking about the customer service piece, that's very important to the relationship.
Part of building meaningful relationships with families, especially around student achievement and academics, is making sure that we communicate with them every opportunity that we have on how their child is doing and what their role is as a parent. Building a two-way relationship.
It's all about relationships.
It's important to build relationships with families.
It's really our job to say, as an administrator, I'm happy that I'm here and I'm happy that you're here too, and how can I help?